Welcome to Lesson 3 of Unit 9, Helping Seeds Travel. In this lesson, as the students' plants grow, the students will identify different parts of a plant, especially the flower and seed. They figure out that each part of the plant does a specific job to help the plant get what it needs. Some plants depend on animals for pollination in order to make new seeds. In the Engage, ask students to predict what is going to happen with their plants as time goes on, in a sketch on student page 14, Growing Plant Drawing. Encourage them to include a description of what they drew on the lines provided, then share and compare with their peers in other groups. In the Explore, continue the class discussion about their plants by discussing why drawings from each group might differ. Give them time to think, pair, and share. Then, ask students to point out parts of the plant that they recognize. Can they figure out the function of the parts based on their observations? Be sure to refer back to these student drawings as plants grow. Encourage students to compare their illustrations with actual observations. In the Explain, gather students for a read-aloud of the text From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. A read-aloud guide is provided on teacher page 11. As you read, point out different parts and functions of a plant, including seeds, flowers, roots, shoots or stems, and leaves. Ask what parts of a plant they read in the text that can also be observed in their own plant experiment. What other parts might they observe later? Give time for students to turn and talk. Then show this video on parts of a plant. After the video, ask students about the parts of a plant, encouraging discussions of plant parts and the job that each one does to keep the plant healthy. In the Elaborate, direct students to Plant Parts worksheet on Student Journal page 15 to label the plant parts and write the function of each in the space provided. A key for this page is provided on Teacher page 12. In the Evaluate, students will use the scientific drawing rubric shown here on Student Journal page 16 to evaluate their drawing of a growing plant. Review the rubric with the class and then support them as they use it to evaluate their own drawing from Student Journal page 14, Growing Plant Drawing. Give time for students to revise their drawing by adding and labeling any parts that were not already present. Return to the unit level phenomena, asking students what they figured out in this lesson about flowering plants that might help explain a strawberry growing. They should be able to conclude that a strawberry is a fruit that formed from a flower. The fruit holds a seed. They may also mention that strawberry plants rely on animals to help pollinate their flowers. By the end of this lesson, students will identify and describe the parts of a plant, as well as identify and describe the functions of each of the plant parts.